The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, The Cyclone, and the Land of Oz. Dorothy lived with her Aunt Em and Uncle Henry on a small farm in Kansas. She was an orphan, which meant she had no parents. Her only friend was her little dog, Toto. Toto had long, silky black hair and small black eyes that twinkled with joy. He never left Dorothy's side. Whenever Dorothy stood in the doorway and looked around, she could see nothing but flat, dry land stretching far and wide. There were no trees or hills. The hot sun had baked everything, even turning the grass gray instead of green. Their house was small, with only one room serving as both kitchen and bedroom. It had a cupboard for dishes, a table, a few chairs, and 2 beds. A large bed for Aunt Em and Uncle Henry in one corner, and Dorothy's little bed in another. The floor had a small door that led to a storm cellar where they could hide during cyclones. Aunt Em was thin and quiet, and Uncle Henry never laughed. The hot sun and strong winds had changed them, but Dorothy was different. She was full of life and laughter and loved playing with Toto every day. One day, Uncle Henry sat on the doorstep and looked worriedly at the unusually dark sky. His face suddenly turned pale. "A cyclone is coming, Em!" he shouted. Aunt Em dropped her work and hurried to the door. Dorothy stood there with Toto in her arms, also staring at the dark sky. "Quick, Dorothy!" Aunt Em cried. "Run to the storm cellar!" Aunt Em threw open the trapdoor and climbed down into the dark shelter. Dorothy started to follow, but Toto jumped from her arms and dashed under the bed. He was frightened by all the noise. "Toto, come back!" Dorothy called while crawling after him. But before she could grab him, whoosh! The wind howled like a beast. The house began to shake and suddenly lifted into the air. Dorothy quickly grabbed Toto and held him tight. She was too scared to move. The house spun round and round as the wind carried it higher and higher. Outside the windows, everything vanished into the swirling gray clouds. For what seemed like hours, the house floated through the sky. After a while, Dorothy felt as if she were being rocked gently, like a baby in a cradle. She grew sleepy, and finally she fell into a deep sleep. When she woke up, everything was quiet. The house wasn't moving anymore. Dorothy stood up carefully and walked to the door. Taking a deep breath, she opened it and gasped in amazement. She was no longer in Kansas. The cyclone had set the house down gently in a beautiful country. The sky was bright blue, not gray. The sun shone on soft green grass, and the air smelled sweet with flowers. Colorful trees swayed gently, with delicious-looking fruit hanging from their branches. In the distance stood small houses, painted in bright colors. As Dorothy stepped outside with Toto, she noticed a strange group of people coming towards her. They were grown-ups, but no taller than she was. They had round faces and kind, twinkling eyes. All of them wore blue clothes. 3 were men, and 2 had beards. Walking with them was an elderly woman, dressed in a white gown. Her hair was silver, and she had a gentle, wise face. She carried a small golden stick and walked slowly. When they neared Dorothy's house, they stopped and whispered to each other. They seemed unsure about coming closer, but the elderly woman approached Dorothy and bowed with a warm smile. "Welcome to the land of the Munchkins, dear child," she said kindly. "You have saved us from the Wicked Witch of the East." Dorothy's eyes widened with surprise. I don't understand," she said. The woman pointed to the bottom of the house. "When your house landed, it fell on the Wicked Witch of the East. She is defeated, and now the Munchkins are free." Dorothy looked down and gasped. 2 feet wearing shiny silver shoes stuck out from under the house. "The silver shoes are yours now," said the woman. "There is magic in them, though we never knew exactly what kind." Dorothy felt terrible. "Oh dear, I didn't mean to hurt anyone." "Do not worry," the woman said gently. "She was cruel, and the Munchkins are grateful to be free." "Who are the Munchkins?" Dorothy asked. "They are the people who live in this land, where the Wicked Witch of the East ruled," the woman explained. "Are you a Munchkin too?" Dorothy asked. "No, I'm their friend," the woman replied with a smile. "I live in the north. When the Munchkins saw that the Wicked Witch was gone, they sent a messenger to me, and I came right away. I am the Good Witch of the North." Dorothy's mouth fell open. "Are you really a witch?" "Yes, I am a good witch, and the people here love me," the woman said. "I wasn't powerful enough to defeat the Wicked Witch myself. Who are you, my dear?" "I'm Dorothy, and this is Toto," she said, patting her dog's head. "We want to go home to Kansas." The Good Witch smiled kindly. "Then you must go to the Emerald City and ask the Great Wizard of Oz to help you." "Is he good? And how do I get there?" Dorothy asked. "He is a powerful wizard. The road to his city is paved with yellow brick, so you cannot miss it," the witch explained. "Will you come with me?" Dorothy asked hopefully. "I cannot," the woman said, "but my kiss will protect you on your journey." She leaned forward and gently kissed Dorothy's forehead, leaving a small shining mark that Dorothy didn't notice. "The journey is long," the Good Witch warned. "You will pass through beautiful meadows and also through dark, dangerous places. But do not be afraid. No one will harm you with my mark." Dorothy took a deep breath and looked down at Toto. "Well, I guess we're going to the Emerald City," she said bravely. And so began Dorothy's adventure in the wonderful land of Oz. The journey begins. When the Good Witch and the Munchkins left, Dorothy went back inside the house. She was hungry after all the excitement, so she took some bread from the cupboard and shared half with Toto. "We need to pack for our journey," Dorothy told her little dog. She found a small basket and filled it with bread and fruit. Then she washed herself and changed into her clean blue and white dress. But as she was tying her pink sunbonnet under her chin, Dorothy noticed her shoes. "These won't last for a long journey, Toto," she sighed. Just then, Dorothy noticed the silver shoes that had belonged to the Wicked Witch sparkling on the table. "I wonder if they'll fit me," she said. When she tried them on, they fit perfectly and were sturdy enough for walking. "Come along, Toto," Dorothy said, picking up her basket. "We're going to the Emerald City to ask the Great Oz how to get back to Kansas." She locked the door and set off, with Toto trotting beside her. It didn't take long to find the yellow brick road. As she walked, her silver shoes made a cheerful, tinkling sound. Dorothy thought Oz was pretty, though she still missed Kansas. Along the way, friendly Munchkins came out of their round, blue houses to wave at her. They were grateful she had freed them from the Wicked Witch. By evening, Dorothy's feet were tired. She came to a larger house, where many Munchkins were dancing and feasting. The owner, a man named Bock, welcomed her warmly. "Please join us for supper," he said. "You are our honored guest." During the meal, Bock noticed Dorothy's silver shoes. "You must be a powerful sorceress," he said. "You wear the silver shoes, and you freed the Munchkins." Bock smiled. "Blue is the color of Munchkins, and white is for witches. You must be a friendly witch." Dorothy looked down at her dress. But I'm just a regular girl from Kansas. Dorothy didn't argue. After watching the dancing for a while, she went to bed in a cozy blue room. Toto curled up beside her. The next morning, after a big breakfast, Dorothy played with a Munchkin baby for a little while. Then she thanked Bach and continued her journey on the yellow brick road. It was a beautiful day, with soft clouds drifting lazily across the sky and birds singing in the distance. Dorothy didn't mind walking, but she wished she had someone to talk to besides Toto. She had only gone a short way when she came to a large cornfield. In the middle stood a scarecrow, high up on a wooden pole. His head was made of a stuffed sack with painted eyes, nose, and mouth. He wore a patched blue coat, and straw stuck out from his sleeves and collar. A black crow sat on his shoulder, pecking at the straw. Dorothy stopped and looked at him curiously. "Good day, Mr. Scarecrow," she said with a giggle, not expecting an answer. To her surprise, the Scarecrow nodded his head. Dorothy jumped back. Did you just nod at me?" she gasped. "Of course I did," said the Scarecrow, his painted mouth moving as he spoke. Dorothy's eyes widened. "But how can you talk? You're made of straw." "I don't know," the Scarecrow admitted, "but I've been stuck up here for so long. Would you help me down, please?" Dorothy saw that the Scarecrow was held up by a wooden pole that went through his back. Carefully, she reached up and easily lifted him off. He was very light, being made of straw. The Scarecrow tumbled to the ground in a heap. "Oh no!" Dorothy cried. "Are you hurt?" The Scarecrow sat up and brushed himself off. "Not at all. I can't feel pain because I don't have any brains. Just straw." He tapped his head, and it made a hollow sound. Dorothy helped him stand up and brushed the dust from his coat. "Thank you so much," he said cheerfully. "I feel much better now. Who are you?" "I'm Dorothy, and this is Toto," she replied. "We're going to the Emerald City to see the Wizard of Oz. I need his help to get back home to Kansas." "The Emerald City?" The Scarecrow's painted eyes seemed to widen. "Do you think this wizard could give me some brains?" Dorothy thought for a moment. "I don't see why not. If he can help me, I'm sure he can help you too." The Scarecrow clapped his straw-filled hands together. "Wonderful! Then I'll come with you if you don't mind." "I'd love having someone to talk to," said Dorothy. So, Dorothy, Toto, and the Scarecrow set off together down the yellow brick road. As they walked, the Scarecrow told Dorothy about himself. "A Munchkin farmer and his wife made me to scare away the crows in their cornfield," he explained. "At first, I did frighten the crows, but soon they realized I couldn't move." The Scarecrow sighed. "Do you think having brains is better than having straw in your head?" "I think so," Dorothy nodded. "In Kansas, children go to school to learn new things. Brains help you understand the world." "I would love to understand things," the Scarecrow said excitedly. "Oh, I simply must get some brains." The yellow brick road soon led them into a thick forest. The air felt cool and damp, and the road was harder to see under all the fallen leaves. Suddenly, the Scarecrow tripped over a hole in the path and fell flat on his face. "Oh dear," said Dorothy, helping him up. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." The Scarecrow laughed. "I forgot that I don't have any bones." Dorothy giggled. "That's good. At least you don't get bruises like I do." The sun was setting, and Dorothy felt tired. She sat under a large tree and took out some bread from her basket. She shared a piece with Toto, who gobbled it up happily. "Don't you need to eat?" she asked the Scarecrow. No, I don't eat or drink, he replied, and I never get tired either. I wish I didn't get tired, Dorothy said with a yawn, but sometimes it's nice to sleep and dream. I've never slept, said the Scarecrow. What's it like? It's peaceful, Dorothy murmured as her eyes closed. Your body rests, and sometimes you dream of the most wonderful things. Toto curled up beside her, and soon both were fast asleep. The Scarecrow sat nearby, watching over his new friends. He smiled, happy to be free from the pole and on his way to get some brains. The Tin Woodman. Dorothy woke up early the next morning, feeling refreshed. The sun was just beginning to peek through the branches, creating patterns of light on the forest floor. Toto yawned beside her. The Scarecrow sat nearby, exactly where he had been all night. Good morning, he said cheerfully. Did you sleep well, Dorothy? Dorothy rubbed her eyes and nodded. Yes, thank you. Did you get bored watching over us all night? A little, the Scarecrow admitted. But I enjoyed listening to the owls and crickets. The forest is quite lively at night. Dorothy looked thoughtful for a moment. We need to find some water, she said, brushing leaves from her blue dress. Why do you need water? Asked the Scarecrow, looking confused. To wash the dust off my face and hands, and to drink, Dorothy explained. Otherwise, the dry bread will stick in my throat. The Scarecrow nodded thoughtfully. It must be difficult to be made of flesh. You need food, water, and sleep. But at least you have brains. They walked through the trees until they found a small, clear spring bubbling up from the ground. Dorothy drank the cool water. Then she washed her face and hands, while Toto lapped at the water beside her. Finally, she took out some bread from her basket and shared it with Toto. After breakfast, they continued along the yellow brick road. Toto trotted ahead, sniffing at fallen leaves and chasing the occasional butterfly. The road was still easy to follow, but the air was cooler here. Birds chirped and called to each other high in the trees. Suddenly, a strange sound interrupted the forest noises. Ooh! A low groan came from among the trees. Dorothy stopped walking. Did you hear that? Yes, said the Scarecrow, turning his straw head from side to side. It came from over there. Dorothy and the Scarecrow left the path and followed the sound. The trees grew even closer together, making it hard to walk between them. Soon, they spotted something strange standing in a small clearing. It was a man, completely still. He was made entirely of tin. His arms were frozen at his sides, and his face was stiff with just his mouth slightly open. Oh my! Dorothy gasped. It's a man made of tin! The Tin Woodman's eyes moved to look at them. His mouth moved just slightly as he whispered, Oh, oil, can... Dorothy and the Scarecrow looked around. There, sitting on a tree stump, was a small rusted oil can. Dorothy picked it up and hurried to the Tin Woodman's side. Where should I oil you first? She asked. My neck, please, the Tin Woodman whispered hoarsely. Dorothy carefully dripped oil onto his neck joints and rubbed it in with her fingers. The Tin Woodman slowly moved his head from side to side and let out a long sigh of relief. Ah, that feels so much better, he said, his voice stronger now. Could you oil my arms and legs too, please? Dorothy oiled each joint until the Tin Woodman could move freely. He danced with joy. Oh, thank you, he exclaimed. I've been standing there, rusted, for a whole year. A whole year? Dorothy couldn't imagine it. That's terrible. What happened to you? My story is a sad one. he began. "I wasn't always made of tin. Once I was a regular man, a woodcutter who lived in this forest." Dorothy's eyes widened with surprise. "You were a real person." The Tin Woodman nodded. "Yes. I fell in love with a beautiful Munchkin girl. We planned to get married and build a little cottage in the woods." "That sounds lovely," said Dorothy. "It would have been," the Tin Woodman sighed. "But her guardian didn't want her to leave, so she went to the Wicked Witch of the East and asked her to stop our marriage." "The witch cursed my axe," added the Tin Woodman. "Every time I used it, it would slip and cut off a part of my body." Dorothy gasped. "How awful!" "First I lost a leg," he continued. "Luckily, a skilled tinsmith made me a new leg of tin, but then I lost my other leg and both my arms. Each time, the tinsmith replaced the missing part with tin. Finally, I lost my head and body until I was made entirely of tin." "That's terrible," said the Scarecrow. The Tin Woodman nodded sadly. "When I lost my body, I also lost my heart. Without it, I could no longer love the Munchkin girl. She was so sad that I didn't love her anymore, that she went away and married someone else." He paused for a moment. I stood right here and cried, but my tears rusted my jaw shut. Then the rain rusted the rest of my joints. I've been stuck ever since. Dorothy thought for a moment. "We're going to see the Wizard of Oz," she said. "I'm asking him to help me get back home to Kansas, and the Scarecrow wants a brain. Maybe the wizard could give you a heart." The Tin Woodman's face brightened. "Do you think so? If I had a heart, I would be the happiest man in Oz. May I come with you?" "Of course," said Dorothy. "We'd love to have you join us." The Tin Woodman then carefully picked up his axe and oiled it until it shone. He swung it a few times to make sure it worked properly. "Now I'm ready," he said with a smile. So, the four companions set off down the yellow brick road together. The forest seemed less scary now that they had a strong Tin Woodman with a sharp axe to protect them. "It's lucky we found you," Dorothy said. As they walked, the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman talked about what they would ask the wizard for. "I shall ask for brains," said the Scarecrow. "A fool wouldn't know what to do with a heart." The Tin Woodman shook his head. "I would rather have a heart than brains. Brains don't make you happy. But when you have a heart, you can love, and that's the best feeling in the world." Dorothy listened, thinking how strange it was that each wanted what the other had. But she had her own worries. The bread was nearly gone, and another meal would empty the basket completely.